Hello, everybody. I'm Jackie K. Cooper, and it's Tell a Story Thursday. And that's when I read a story from one of my previous books, not The Wisdom of Winter. These are the ones written before that. And I'm in Journey of a Gentle Southern Man. And this was my first book, and the reason I wrote it was to try to, pass on some of the stories that I'd heard about in my family and my parents' families, etc. And the story I'm going to read now is one of those stories. It's called That Goodbye Was His Last. So here goes. They were as close as a brother and sister could be, even though there was an 11-year age difference between them. Plus, there was an intervening brother and 2 intervening sisters. But in a family of 8 children, you never know which 2 are going to be close. You only pray that some of them will be. In the Kershaw family, it was Robert and Virginia. She was the youngest girl, and he was the 3rd eldest son. On the surface, it would appear that they had nothing in common, but they did. They adored each other. From the time she was a toddler, she was his shadow, and he basked in her adoration and love. Even into his teen years, he did not forget his little sister who loved him so, and would take her to the movies and ball games and many other entertainment events she wanted. All of his girlfriends knew there was a special woman in his life, and they took care to charm her if they wanted to charm Robert. Only once did Robert do anything to hurt Virginia, and that happened when she was 5 and he was 16. A new school year had begun, and Robert, caught up in the excitement of the day, rushed out without telling Virginia goodbye. When she discovered he was gone, Virginia burst into tears, and no one could console her. She finally made herself physically sick and was put to bed. When Robert got home from school, he learned what his failure to say goodbye had done to her. He rushed to her room and begged her forgiveness. He promised from that day on he would never leave without telling her goodbye, and he didn't. A couple of years later, when Robert was 18 and Virginia was 7, he left one night to go out on a date. As was his custom, he kissed her goodbye and told her when he would return. Virginia had a cold and went to bed early that night. Around 10 or so, she woke up and saw Robert standing at the foot of her bed. When she asked what he was doing there, he told her that he had come to tell her goodbye. Virginia didn't understand, but still she felt a warm glow as he came over and kissed her on her cheek. Then he was gone, and Virginia went back to sleep. Later that night, she was awakened by commotion in her house. Sadly, she learned that her beloved Robert had been killed in a car wreck. He had died a little after 10 that night. My mother, Virginia, always swore the story was true. Others in her family said she dreamed it, but I like to think it was true. I feel God in his wisdom knew how heartbroken a little girl would be over the death of her older brother, and he decided to temper that hurt by letting him give her one last goodbye. This has been Jackie K. Cooper, sending love and hope.